people. Um, so this is not like a typical video you'll usually see on this channel, but I just thought of something I kind of wanted to share. Because why not? So as I figure out how to set up this thing I'm recording on, I've not filmed my. I don't usually film in my parents' rooms when I talk about things. Sorry. As you can tell, I didn't really plan this in full. This is unscripted. Let's keep it there for now. Let's put it here for now. Isn't this such a fun start to the video? You're already hating it. So, what I wanted to talk about, so, since I don't have a script for this video, I don't really have a way to start this off, so let's just start in the middle of our story. Somewhere. Sometimes I'll perform things for my friends, usually not by myself. I usually do it in like a duo act with my other actor friend, and we do that stuff all the time. She's more of like she does things more in tone when she acts, but I do more physical things. And there was one role we were doing that was great for that. She spoke more, but I got to do a lot more physical things. It involves me like getting punched. And every time I did that, we rehearsed that, and people saw it, thinking I actually got punched because of how I fell. We performed it for our friends. The first time, they probably thought I actually got punched. They asked us to do it again so that they would record it. And our other friends noticed the commotion. They thought I actually got punched. That fall right there, entirely planned. I didn't slip, and I fully planned how the fall went through. I'm just good at falling. My friends always think it's real, and one of my friends have told me that it's scary how accurately I can fall and ragdoll. And so often, they ask me to teach them how to do that. I'm not a very good teacher, honestly. Like, in ragdolling, the best way I can explain... I've been doing this since, like, elementary school. I just think it's funny. I keep doing it. It just becomes second nature. I'm able to just go loose, no control. I fall. Don't even think about the fall. I don't care if it hurts. I just somehow manage to ignore pain. It's actually falling, letting gravity do whatever it wants. And yet, I still feel like I'm in control, and I can make myself fall in a way that doesn't hurt. I can't explain that. The best way I can explain is actually just saying how to ragdoll. I just let them imagine, because they have trouble just doing this in general. Just say, take your arm. Stop controlling it. Let it go limp. It falls like that. Do that everywhere. Do that on everything. And just don't care about the fall. Don't let your instincts stop you from falling. Catch your fall. Don't let that happen. I imagine that's very hard to do. You're built as a human to actually worry about that actively. Because like that's probably gonna hurt. Especially when you're not as used to it as I am. Doing it for many years. Probably since like the 3rd grade, and what am I in, like 9th? That's 6 years. Interesting. There was one friend, he, I don't know how long he tried it for. I told him that method, and the next day, he showed me that he was able to do it fairly well. It was a bit more like, it was not as much as, kind of like how I do it, but still pretty good. Another one of my friends, he struggled quite a lot, but he told me he was gonna keep practicing. If you're not good and you keep practicing, it's probably gonna hurt, but anyway, it'll be fine. Where was I going with this story? So, I just, the way I teach, in general, probably because of how I like learning, I don't always explain it. I like literally right there. I said, take your arm, make it go limp. I didn't just explain it. I showed it in a way that you could probably do it yourself. And usually, when I explain things like that and I show them how to do something, I tell them to do it. So that not only am I visually teaching them, it's tactile teaching. If that's how you call it, I don't know. But something like I don't know if I would be able to tell them how to do other things. Something I think about a lot. Being able to switch from exaggerated to subtle. Acting. If you want to act, a lot of people would just think like, oh, the theater kids, very exuberant people. They probably act very, in a way they would pretty much imagine very exaggerated in their head if they visualize it. But it's not really always like that. It would be, but it's not always at all times very realistic. If they tried to ask me how to act something like accurately, very realistic, I don't know how I would exactly teach it or explain it outside of just imagine, like, how would you react if this was true? If you really felt this way? Like, what I do, sometimes a person talks to me about something that I don't want to talk about, and sometimes I don't want to tell them off. So I just play dumb. I act like I don't know what they're talking about. And how I do that, I just naturally, like, be very vague. Which is very good, because if I don't know about it, I'm not going to have much to say anyways. And in my head, I'm not thinking, man, I'm drinking this guy so good. I'm trying to insert thoughts as if I were really thinking about, like, what is this guy talking about? I have no clue what's going on right now. Just generally very clueless. Just get in the character like that. And you can do it, like, very naturally. You're not going to slip up. One story I love telling. My theater teacher, he puts on, like, theater games in enrichment class twice a week. And one theater game, the whole class was separated into 3 teams. We were doing what he called reactions. Like, act like you're rioting, or, what else did he do? I'm gonna take too long thinking about that. He, on one of the rounds, it was, do the best grunt. And immediately I remembered something. Many games ago, he did a thing. Everyone got their own number. He picked random numbers, 6 of them, to go onto the stage. And they did a thing. They take turns, do the thing. They step back. They're all finished. Turn around. Everyone raises their hands for certain ones. That's how it goes. And there was one round where it was, you could have probably guessed, the best grunt. What I noticed is when they all went by, they would try to, like, one up the person that went directly before them. They went louder, more noticeable, and it just went more exaggerated over time. Eventually it went from grunts to growls. And there was 2 very loud ones that ended up tying. So he called both of them to do a final grunt off, as he called it, and he picked the winner. What ended up happening is the second one to go was the most exaggerated of them all. He got down, he went so loud for such a long time, so high, until at the very end he did a tinsel, like, very high-pitched scream, and kept it like that for so long. It's so impressive he won, but everyone was thinking, that's not a grunt! What was that? I thought about that a lot. And when this round happened, I thought, please don't let my team growl. And what ended up happening, all 3 teams, as a whole, growled, of course. He literally said that we had a volume meter. He wanted us to do the best grunts, not the loudest. He said, be at, like, an average of 3. Don't go higher than 5 on the, like, volume levels, whatever that would be. And he even explained what the grunts would be like. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm going to repeat it. So, it was actually with the help of his son. He was like, a grunt, don't do a growl. A grunt is like Uh, let me think. His son then shouts out to him, thinking, like pushing a watermelon-sized kidney stone. Yeah, like pushing a watermelon-sized kidney stone. Yeah, like that. That's what a grunt is. It's wild. But I was already thinking in my head, what would cause a grunt? And all three teams growled, as I mentioned. He said they all growled instead of grunted, and they're all very similar. He's gonna pick one representative from every single team. I was looking back at my team. I saw them all discussing who's gonna go. I'm not doing it. Well, me neither. What about you? No, I don't want to do it. And I was starting like, maybe I should do it. I probably won't win, but it'd be fun, and they don't want to do it. Maybe. And then he randomly picks me. Logan, you do it. Oh God. So I was randomly picked as the representative for my team, and it's probably because it was the day directly after my audition, and he did a big speech about things, mostly about being shameless is the main thing in theater. So he's probably seeing if I could go through with it. And what ended up happening, I thought in my head, what caused the grunt? The two guys growled, and then I didn't think of one-upping them. I thought, let me do how I think it is. I imagined picking up an incredibly heavy object, and I ended up actually motioning as if I was picking up a heavy object. And that kind of helped with the sound. I got what I thought was like a real grunt, fairly loud, fairly noticeable, but a grunt and not too loud. And I won. And then my friend from the other team cheered, yeah, go Lou! And I thought, I don't know if I would cheer if my friend was on another team. I'll think about that later. But anyways, what I love about explaining this story, okay, this is embarrassing. So what I like about explaining the story is how you can clearly see there's like a difference between being able to control from like exaggerated to subtle. You have to be able to switch between those two very easily, very well, for things to really work properly. Because when I stuttered there, that was fake. You probably didn't realize, did you? Be honest. Because I'm thinking a bunch of words I would probably have actually used and maybe actually messed up if I was talking too fast without giving myself time to think. I'm thinking of everything I'm saying ahead of time. That's how I speak. That's how I explain things. I'm thinking of it all ahead of time. So I've planned it. I'm not going to stutter genuinely in this thing. But if you're not gonna believe that for a second if I did that. That's way too exaggerated. You need to be able to switch between them. I can switch. That seems real, but I'm not gonna. Whoa! You won't believe that. But it's funny. So you need to be able to do that exaggerated one. Go through with it. And this only slightly stings now. Only slightly. I don't think it's gonna do anything bad, but there's a slight chance it may hurt a bit later. But I'm not thinking about that now. I actually went through with it. That's also good. You gotta be able to actually go exaggerated, go through with it, but no, not to always do that for spectacle. You need to be able to do things realistically. And that's... I just love explaining that so much. Because it is so... Things are fun. This is why I like theater. If this acting thing doesn't work out, I could be a theater teacher, maybe. Because like, see, when you're doing acting, you either become actor or theater teacher. I don't think there's anything else you can really do with it. So, I probably got that out for me. I'm probably gonna edit that out too. That thing I just said, you don't know what it is. You're probably gonna wonder so hard about it. Let me stop this recording now. Whoop!